Watch this. A top-down RPG world, running live in the browser with Phaser 3. The camera follows our hero as they walk through the map. The walls are solid. And when we step up to this villager and press a key, a dialog box opens and talks back, line by line. That's a real game loop, a world, a character, and a conversation. In the next few minutes we'll build every piece ourselves. We'll load a tiled world and collide the player against it. We'll move in 4 directions, follow with the camera, and add an NPC. Then we'll open a dialog box when you walk up and press space. Let's build it. One quick, honest heads up before we write any code. If you want finished games to pull apart after this, I put together a Phaser game dev bundle. $19, 10 complete browser games with full source you can reskin and ship. One of them is a top-down RPG just like this one. It's completely optional, the link sits in the description, and it never interrupts the tutorial. Now, let's build the world. Every RPG needs a world to walk around in. We painted ours in the free tiled editor and exported it, and here we load it inside Create. This .make.tilemap, key map, turns that export into a real map object. Then add tileSetImage links the tileset name from tile to the image key we loaded in preload. We draw 2 layers by their exact tiled names, ground first, then walls on top. Right now those walls are just a picture. So we call walls.setCollision by property, collides true. Only the tiles you flagged with that property in tile become solid, everything else stays walkthrough. The dedicated tilemap tutorial on this channel goes deep on all of this. Here we keep it quick, because the RPG magic is what comes next. Now let's give our hero legs. First, in Create, we spawn the player as a physics sprite, collide them against the walls, and grab the arrow keys with Create cursor keys. That one line hands us up, down, left, and right, ready to read. Then all the movement lives in Update, which Phaser runs every single frame. We start each frame by zeroing the velocity, so letting go of the keys stops the player. If left is down we set a -x velocity, if right is down, a +1. Same idea for up and down on the y-axis. And here's the pro touch most beginner tutorials miss. Press 2 keys at once, up and right, and a naive setup moves you faster diagonally than straight. So we take the velocity vector, normalize it to length 1, and scale it back to our speed. Now a diagonal walk is exactly as fast as walking in a straight line. 4-direction movement, done right. A world bigger than the screen needs a camera that follows the player. In Phaser that's one line, cameras.main.startFollow, the player. The view now glides along wherever they walk. One more line keeps it clean, cameras.main.setBounds, 0, 0, the map's width in pixels and height in pixels. Those 2 numbers come straight from the map, the exact size of your level. With bound set, the camera physically can't scroll past the edge of the world and show empty space. Follow plus bounds, that's the whole camera, and it already feels like a real game. A world is lonely without someone in it. Let's add a villager to talk to. We create the NPC as a physics sprite, just like the player, a position and a texture key. Then one important line, npc.body.setImmovable, true. Without it, the player would shove the NPC around like a hockey puck every time they bumped into it. Immovable pins it in place. We also add a collider between the player and the NPC, so the hero stops at the villager instead of walking straight through them. Now we have a character standing in the world, waiting to be talked to. Next, let's build the box that lets them speak. Here's the heart of an RPG, the dialog box. We build it once, in Create, and the trick is a single method, set scroll factor 0. Normally everything scrolls with the world as the camera moves. A scroll factor of 0 pins an object to the screen instead. Our box stays glued to the bottom no matter where the player walks. First we add a rectangle for the background, a position, a size, and a black fill at 80% opacity. Then a text object, empty for now, with white text and word wrap, so long lines break neatly inside the box. We call set scroll factor 0 on both, so they ride with the camera. Finally, we hide them with set visible false. The box exists, it's fixed to the screen, and it's waiting off camera until the player walks up to talk. Now, when should the villager speak? Two conditions have to be true: the player is standing close, and they just pressed the action key. First, in create, we register that key, input.keyboard.add key codes.space. Then in update, every frame, we measure the distance. Phaser.math.distance.between, the player's x and y and the NPC's x and y, gives us the gap in pixels. We check if that's less than 48, roughly 1 tile away. Now the key itself. We don't want to read is down here, because holding space would fire every single frame and blast through the whole conversation instantly. Instead we use phaser input keyboard just down, which is true for exactly 1 frame on the press. So, if we're near, and the key was just pressed, we call advanced dialog. Proximity plus 1 clean press, that's the whole interaction. Last piece, what advanced dialog actually does. Up in create we store our lines, an array of strings the villager says, and a line index starting at 0. Now the method itself. If the box is hidden, this is the first press, so we start at line 0 and open the box. If it's already showing, we step the index forward by 1 to the next line. Then the exit check. If the index runs past the last line, we hide the box and the text and return. The conversation is over. Otherwise, we make the box and text visible and call set text with the current line. So the first press opens the box on line 1. Each press after that advances 1 line. And the press after the final line closes it. Walk up, press space, read the story, a complete dialogue system in one small method. Let's lock it in. You loaded a tiled world and made the walls solid with set collision by property and a collider. You moved the player in 4 directions, and normalized the vector so diagonals aren't faster. You locked a follow camera to the world bounds. You added an NPC and pinned it with setImmovable. Then the star of the show, a dialog box fixed to the camera with set scroll factor 0. It opens on a proximity check plus just down, and advances line by line until it hides at the end. That is a real top-down RPG loop, a world, a character, and a conversation, running in the browser. That's a playable top-down RPG in Phaser 3, walk the world, meet a villager, and talk. If you want the every line written version, it's free in the description, with a copy button on every block. Next up on the channel, we turn this into a phaser card game. That's a menu, a deck, and turn logic on top of these same skills. And if you want 10 complete games to reskin and ship, the Phaser Game Dev Bundle is $19, full source, link below. Subscribe for more build-alongs, and go add a second NPC with its own lines before the next video. See you there.